Hello everybody, this is Toys R Us, and for this figure collection comparison video we're obviously going to be comparing the mainline deluxe Optimus Prime figure with the Studio Series deluxe Optimus Prime figure. Before we go any further, just a quick couple of things. If anybody's not subscribed to the channel, let them hit that subscribe button for me now please, because it really will help me out. And the other is to thank Hasbro, because they very kindly sent me these, and without them doing so I wouldn't be able to do this video at all. So let's start off first and foremost with the packaging, then we're going to open them up, we're going to have a look at the accessories, we're going to do detailed comparisons of them in both of their modes, and then I suppose we can just do I suppose you guys can let me know in the comments which you prefer and why, because you've obviously got the most more expensive figure here, let's be honest, and then as I say, this is the main line one. And now what strikes me straight away, and unfortunately I haven't got any scales to hand, is the weight difference in the packaging. Now although these boxes I'm pretty sure share exactly the same dimensions, they look exactly the same shape, height, width, depth, etc. to me they look pretty much bang on identical. This one feels nearly double the weight. Now this could also be, we can already tell that the figure looks that little bit bigger, but let's be honest as well, it could also be the fact that we know this has got that huge extra cardboard display as well, so it could be that. But overall, straight off the bat, this guy feels much heavier. The cardboard feels exactly the same, as in it feels nice quality thick robust cardboard, and as you can see they both still have windowless boxes. Again, artwork, screenshots, whether it's actual movie CGI, I'm not too sure. It looks great no matter which mode it is. Obviously this one again just perhaps look that a little bit more detailed, and we can already tell, in fact that's a great image, that's of course one of the posters. So yeah, the box, to be fair, this one's box is better from the side, this one's box is better from the front. So there you go, there's a couple of little comparisons for you there straight off, but not much more to say about the box. Let's get these guys out of the packaging. What I'm going to do is I'm going to keep them on their backing card, just so we can sort of see if this figure is much heavier because it's bigger, or if it's just because it's cleverly positioned really high up in the box. So let's open up the boxes and see what they look like on their backing cards. Okay then guys, so we can already see that definitely the Studio Series figure is actually quite a bit bigger, which is great, because of course the reason I'm saying that is because this guy costs more, so obviously we want to make sure that we're getting, let's just say, our money's worth. So he does, as I say, also have this huge additional piece of cardboard. But the other good news is I've gone out and brought a set of scales since I showed you the quick first part of the video, so I'm going to be able to weigh the figures as soon as I set them both free from there. But looking at this, yeah, he's looking much more robust. We've got his accessories in the back of there, which of course is the energon axe and the front parts of the vehicle, whereas this guy looks like he's just got the energon axe. So there we go, there they are fresh out of the box. Let's set them free from there and have a look what they look like together and do some more detailed comparisons. So very quickly then, here we are, and you can already see that there is a huge size difference in these, which I suppose is a bit reassuring, to be honest. These are the scales in front of us. So I've got the mainline one, and he is coming in at 61 grams. That's going to be 0.0, so 61 grams he's weighing in at, which again isn't very much at all. That doesn't include his accessories, but that's because it is obviously just an accessory, whereas this guy is coming in straight away at 93. However, the accessories that come with him, if you remember, his smokestacks will be on, the matrix will be inside his chest, and he will have the front bumper on at the back in either mode. So he's up to 95 gram now, 96. So yeah, quite a bit more figure. In fact, is that like 50% more? Was it 95 and 6? Yeah, pretty much, yeah. So you're getting literally 50% more figure there. So I know that people will want to ask that, hence why we went and getting the set of scales to do that. So obviously let's have a quick look at the accessories. Now these again are in a completely different league, which is good, and again this one is much bigger, but they do look pretty good together. Apologies, they just went out of focus there. The smokestacks, obviously, as I say, we do know that we need to attach these, so I'm going to attach these straight on already. And then of course the matrix chamber I'll pop in his chest in a minute. So that's really stiff because of course it's brand new. And I've had a quick look at this, and I can't see, again, it's my first experience with this figure. Oh, maybe there is a matrix actually. I was going to say I can't see that there's one, but it looks like there's one tucked behind there now. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is the matrix was obviously on him, so the weight test was obviously completely fair. Now this is ridiculous. You can clearly see how much of a difference there is. There is way more than, I've got to confess, than I thought that there would be. It looks like what I would class this as, did they used to call it, like, I know Commander class now is huge, but I'm sure way back just after Warrior class, I'm sure there was something like a Commander maybe a few years ago. But anyhow, it reminds me of that because it, you know, even a really small deluxe like Bumblebee feels to have a lot more weight to him than this. So articulation wise, it's probably, well, it's definitely going to be a no contest. So out to the side, all the way out to the side, no problem whatsoever, all the way around. And again, guys, the reason why I'm doing this, it's just so I suppose you can pick the one that's right for you. One of the biggest things that's going to be right for you guys is, of course, budget. And then, of course, the other thing is the age group, because these are obviously targeted at much more older viewers of the movie, whereas these are targeted at slightly younger. So you're not necessarily worried about having the best articulation, the best accessories. You just want it to be something, you know, that your kids can play with, and for it to look good. So this hip skirt means that he's got much more articulation in the legs. I'll pick him up in a minute. So as I see, you can do full splits there to the side. You can really do some dynamic posing with this, to be fair. You can go right out to the side. My good friend at Brandon at Hasbro has the amazing knack of posing these so well. I take no credit for any of the Optimus Primes that you may have saw in display in the cabinets in the recent events I've been to. That's all down to him, because he's just brilliant at posing them. So there you go, that's huge. This pretty much, let's just separate the legs. Told you it's still fresh out of the box. So you can still do the same, you can still do splits that way, you can still do splits that way, etc, etc. The wrist articulation is massively different. This one you can spin. There is, of course, a bicep cut and flexion, and on this one there is no spin because the fists are going to go to the forearms. There is flexion. Is there a waist swivel? There is a waist swivel. So yeah, it's still, you know, it's still got a good level of articulation. The feet are all molded together by the looks of that. There's no nothing you can do with that at all, no play around it at all, so I wouldn't advise moving it around. Whereas these, you've got toe taps, ankle tilt, rock, everything. Again, super articulated, and again, just for a bit of fun, even though hopefully now, and do you know what, this has been good for me because I've just got these out the box, and I really didn't think that when I saw this guy on the shelf last week for the absolute first time that there was anywhere near as much difference as what there actually is in hand. So it's good, and it's reassuring, I suppose, for us, you know, for us as collectors, for us as buyers, whatever, to know that you are, because you are paying that bit more, that premium for the studio series, that is exactly what you are getting. So there you go, guys, there is some first impressions. Let's come back, have a look at them both in their alternate mode. So the alternate mode comparison, to be honest, is quite shocking. It's really quite striking now how much bigger this particular figure is. I've got the accessory still attached into the back, which I just wanted to show you, which is a nice little similarity. And the reason why I like it as well is because you can store the accessories on the figure when in the alternate mode. So I'm just going to take these both off for obvious reasons. What I've also found out is I can confirm, and obviously people have probably already put in the comments, hope you haven't needed to, that there is definitely a matrix on this guy. I've learned loads of other things from this, which I'll show you when we come back again for the final time. But yeah, so alternate modes, obviously much bigger. The translucent plastic on this is way better. The matrix is visible, which else is great. What I found, and I really like with this though, I've got to confess, as you can see, I had them spun around. Now that's the way that they should be, but I think they look far better. And even on this, even though this is a comparison video and it doesn't really make a difference to what I'm saying, I think as into the comparison, I think they look better turned the other way, in all honesty. And I think it sort of copies that little bit more. But with regards to size, it's clearly half the size, funnily enough. Yeah, we've already done with the weight, so it's 50% less figure, probably 50% smaller, but the good thing is they both roll backwards and forwards, no issues whatsoever. The bottoms underneath are pretty much, well, you've got more gaps in the studio series, obviously, which you can see. What I do like as well, and it's even more apparent in this, and again, people did comment on the review of this particular figure, is I like the greys and the silvers. A lot of people didn't like this sort of, it's borderline beige, to be honest. I wouldn't know exactly what colour to call it, but it's borderline beige, and people obviously commented straight away that it looked like it had yellowed, and that's really apparent, even more so to me anyhow, in this alternate mode. But overall, your comparisons are pretty much that, you know, you've got the same, I suppose, look of the outer wheels there, and the fact that there isn't any, that's just molding detail. The real wheels on both of them are underneath, and yeah, that's literally it. As I say, I suppose the only other difference is there's a 5mm port where you can't even really attach anything else. I did say in the main review for this you can't really attach anything to it, but to be honest, it's exactly the same with the Studio Series figure as well. So that's the alternate modes. We're going to come back final time with them in the robots and have a look at, I suppose, how you can use the accessories, etc., just for some final quick comparisons on them. So then, final part of the comparison, and it is of course the accessories and I suppose some display ideas. And to be fair, the fact that you can do this on both of these figures is very, very impressive, because for deluxe figures you don't normally get that much good articulation. For this particular one, obviously you may remember, it's just a case of a cutout in the forearm, and again you can store in the chest like so. But again, it's obviously got to be a pivotal point in the movie. I've still not seen the movie. And of course I like the fact that you can see it. That's the bonus with that. But with this one, it's just as cleverly done. Of course, similar sort of articulation, not as much, but you know, you haven't got butterfly joints there. But the fact that you can hold it, and of course they have obviously cut a bit of a corner by just using normal tabs, which is held in his hand, but it still works. And for a tiny deluxe figure, I say tiny because it is a small deluxe figure, it's something that is very impressive. And as I say, you can still, as you can see here, you can still store this up in the chest, and it tucks away quite neatly, and I love that as a little gimmick as well. What I also love is the fact this is you can do for both. You can take the smokestacks off and you can use these as blasters. That is something that you can do for both, which again is great. I love figures which have got lots of play features, and just exactly that just gives it more, you know, it makes it more fun. You can do more different things. It just keeps kids playing that little bit longer. The axes of course can go in either hand, no issue whatsoever. It's just a teeny bit smaller, and you know what, that's pretty much all there is to say. So overall, again, it's the same as when I ever do videos comparing, you know, some third party with some mainstream, because some third party figures are very good, but they're also very expensive. In this case, it's the case of the Studio Series is very good, but it's more expensive than this. And of course, age demographic and, you know, ability, your child's ability, then this might be too complex for them, whereas this might be perfect, or this might be ideal because they might have a sibling who might get hold of it. You know, all these silly little reasons that are reasons to other people, even though you may not consider them to be one of yours. But I really hope this comparison video has helped you out. Once again, to remind you, there is both separate review videos of both of these figures, and indeed transformation tutorials if you ever need to refer back to them at some point and use them to guide you to transform them. But there you go, guys, that is the main differences between mainline and Studio Series Orion Pax / Optimus Prime. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments. Take care.